Hello there. It is Wednesday, November 18th, 2015. Wednesday, of course, means comic book day, so let us jump in. This video, part one, is going to be everything non-DC I did not get this week. Part two, of course, will be the DC books that I picked up this week. But this video, we are going to start off with Godzilla in Hell, issue 5, the last issue of this very limited series. And review of this book, review of this series in general, totally not for everybody. If you're looking for characters, if you're looking for a story, if you're looking for something that you can really think about and chew over, this is not the limited series for you. However, if you're just looking for really just beautiful art and just basically really pretty Godzilla walking around, then this book is amazing. I'm more, of a guy. I like dense, chewy stories with lots of characters and motivations and all that. That's usually the sort of thing I go for. But just the adventure I feel in this series, even though it's just walking, it's just 5 issues of Godzilla walking and screaming at things. It's just so beautifully done. The pacing, just the actual visuals, just the detail of the art and everything is just so great, and it's what it wants to be. This is a book that Watcher decided that I'm going to make it this way. It's going to have almost no dialogue, and it's just going to be Godzilla in these completely insane alien environments, and it does that. That's what this is. I would honestly, I would rather have this, instead of a comic book, a collection of just posters that I can lay out across my wall or something. Because every page in these past 5 issues has been frameable. Has just been beautiful stuff. With this issue being no exception. At the end of this issue, we kind of get the book just kind of tells you what it's supposed to be about. The whole kind of message between everything. And I think I'll stop showing pages after this because I don't want to spoil the whole book. But this image, though, this last one of Godzilla's skeleton being, all the meat being picked from his body, that's amazing. That's something that should be painted onto the side of a van in the deep south or something. It's really just cool looking stuff, and that's the entirety of Godzilla in Hell. It's just cool looking, incredibly well done art pieces with Godzilla in these very alien, surreal environments. And either you enjoy that or you don't. Clearly not for everybody. I'm sure there are tons of people who pick these up and I was hoping for more of a story. I feel like I wasted my money. And yeah, because there is no story in this. But if you can take just kind of a slower paced kind of romp with Godzilla, then that's the perfect version, It's the perfect version of that story. So, or non-story as it may be. So Godzilla in Hell, I can't say I did not enjoy it. Next up is Welcome Back, issue 3 of 4. Last issue I said I'm not sure how they're going to squeeze this all into 4 issues, and how I felt like the world and stuff was so big, and I really want to explore, and everything, and I wish this were 8 issues or something. But this issue did did an amazing job of picking up the pace, really bringing us to where we should be at a third, 75% way through the story or something. Still following primarily the 2 characters of Molly and Molly and Tessa, as we see Molly make her first kill through this book, and it's not just shooting someone through a sniper rifle, that'd be too easy. But as she goes on this adventure to make this first kill, we see her slip into the role of a sequel. And we see what it does to her. because even at the end of the second issue, there was this thing, she was so against it. She was so, I don't want to do this. I don't want to have to kill people. I just want to live my life, right? But just even the beginning of this issue, this first, the opening page and then the opening spread, we see just how comfortable it is for her slipping into the sequel role. We see just how fluid the fighting comes to her, how easy it is to just take off and give chase to someone that she's supposed to kill. And for the first time in this book, she really comes across as a character who knows where she belongs. And she kind of outright says that by the middle of the book. And seeing that happen, just seeing a character like that who's been confused find somewhere she belongs, even if where she belongs is killing people and it's something that she is still uncomfortable about, seeing her kind of embrace "this is who I am" is it's just cool to see. It's a cool thing to watch happen. Like, just see her kind of come into her own, even if it's not the own that she saw herself becoming. And like this part of the chase in particular, as she's chasing this guy, I just love this bit as she ducks under and then bashes the two heads against the glass, because it's viral. I mean, it's violent, it's visceral. I combine those two words, but at the same time, it feels natural for her, way more natural than anything else that's happened in the previous two issues. Just kind of seeing her do that is really fun. And then, of course, catching up with Tessa, who has kind of gone a little bit rogue in her hunting of Molly. So yeah, that's that. I mean, her story's a lot less interesting, to be completely honest. But yeah, just to see that character become good at what she's doing is really fantastic. Although one issue I had is it looks like she got paler, like from the previous issues. She looks more Caucasian, I guess, and that kind of threw me off this entire book. I don't know. Is it just me, or does she look more Caucasian than in the previous books? Like just in this spread. But yeah, this was a really enjoyable just issue of this miniseries, and like by the end they set up like the final duel where Molly kind of flips the tables. It's been this game of cat and mouse of Tessa hunting Molly, but now that Molly's really come into her own, it kind of flips. Like, Tessa still doesn't know. Tessa still thinks she's the cat, but by the end of this, you're thinking, well, maybe Tessa's the mouse. Maybe Molly's flipped the tables entirely. And then, of course, next issue, last issue, we're going to see the final showdown, or however they plan to do it, when Tessa and Molly meet face to face, both ready to kill each other or whatever. And so that's going to be fantastic, I feel. This issue, before, this book was kind of meh. It had good moments, it had bad moments, but still take it or leave it. This is the issue that sold me on this series. This is just one issue. Everything is done really well. Again, just seeing the character that has been kind of awkward and hard to follow and all that, just accept her role, even if it's kind of begrudgingly, and just see how well it fits her. It's a fun ride. So welcome back, number 3. Really fun book. Next up, we have Clean Room, number 2. And I kind of feel like this should be like Clean Room 1.5. The first issue did a lot, did more to set up kind of our protagonist, I feel, in retrospect, than it did to set up the actual story. And this one, I mean, it sets up more our antagonist. It sets up Astrid Mueller a lot more. And also kind of what she does. Why is this story about what Astrid Mueller does? So this feels kind of like a better first issue, but like a 1.5 more than an issue number 2. Part of the reason is that in this issue we actually see the clean room, which is just, it's stark. This is a cool image. Just the completely white room with just the figures being, just the people bringing any life into it. But this is also the middle spread of the book. So before that, we have in Palm Harbor, Florida, a very mysterious murder in a meth den, a crack house, a drug house, pretty much, where homeless people go to do drugs and fight and have sex and whatever. To the case of a mysterious murder, where one of the residents of this place was found completely dead, twisted in this weird pretzel position, but the room is completely clean. No fingerprints, no blood, just a dead body, no signs of a struggle past, him being all twisted up like that. So very mysterious murder. Before we jump back, of course, to what I showed you before, to Chloe and Astrid finally getting that one-on-one interview session. And what we see in the interview session is, like, this is our first real introduction to Astrid, and we see just how compelling of a character she is. This is supposed to be an interview where Chloe, of course, is interviewing Astrid, but very quickly, Astrid gets into Chloe's head and makes the conversation about her. She asks the right questions, he gets in her head, and she knows how to bend people, how to make them twist, and, spill things that they might want to keep secret, that they might want to be, have personal. Of course, Astrid ends up seeing another monster thing that's kind of helping her fight back against Astrid. Like, kind of breaking the spell that Astrid might have over her, just completely pulling out of her world entirely. And before Astrid gets deeper and deeper into Chloe's head, they go to the clean room. And we see what the clean room does, and it's not exactly pretty. We see Astrid half therapy, like half kind of, shrink and half interrogate this person who's come to her. This person with intense insomnia cannot go to sleep. And just like she did with Chloe, she gets into this guy's head. We see what he's afraid of. And the clean room becomes a kind of holodeck where we see, like, we literally view what he's thinking in a way. And we see how Astrid gets into their heads and cleans them, so to speak. And then, of course, by the end of this book, we see the repercussions of entering the clean room, which is not too pretty. Like, by the end of this book, the thought racing through my mind is that Gail Simone is one sick person. Like, just the imagery, the character. Like, Astrid Mueller is creepy. She's incredibly creepy, the way that she gets into people's heads, that she just knows how to, what to say, and what is at the very seed of this human being, what makes them tick, and how do I turn that into information for me? How do I turn that into something that I want, that I can, work with in a way? And so she's intensely creepy, intensely powerful, and the things she does are incredibly messed up, like just crazy sick stuff. Really had a lot of fun with this issue. If you like kind of psychological horror, if you like, just kind of, I guess like psychological horror is the heart of this. It is someone bringing, your deepest fears, your deepest insecurities out into the open, and seeing what she does with that. It's shaping up to be really, really good. I really, really enjoyed it. And so Clean Room number 2, if you weren't sold on the first issue, this is, I think, a way better introduction to what this story is going to be about. And so recommend this one wholeheartedly. And the last book that we are going to cover in this part of the video is Miss Marvel number 1. Catching up with Kamala Khan after Secret Wars. And of course, Kamala Khan now, Miss Marvel, is an Avenger. She's an Avenger. She's, a local superhero. She's still also dealing with school, of course, and so she has kind of the problem that early Spider-Man faced of balancing schoolwork and, superhero work. So new school, that got rebuilt after the Secret Wars thing. New school, new friends. She's friends with the popular blonde girl that she was not friends with in the first few issues of this book. But he's not the only one with new friends. Bruno has also made a new girlfriend, and of course that makes Kamala a little bit jealous after she admitted the feelings that she had for Bruno by the end of the previous kind of volume, I guess, of Miss Marvel. And I like that's the general gist. One thing I really enjoyed about this issue are kind of the background things, like just how weird schools become since Miss Marvel became an Avenger. So they still have the Thunder Demons that Loki gave them. The Thunder, what are they called? Thunder Guardians or Lightning Golems? Yeah. So like the Lightning Golems are still there, just guarding the school, and we see them throughout the book doing things like being traffic guards and whatnot. Yeah, this page is a good example. And also, Tony Stark has donated a lot of technology and money to the school, so the teacher has like this super like arm cannon laser pointer thing. Yeah, and here's the Lightning Golem just being a traffic guard. And so I like the little bits of background humor in there. There was no the word "embiggening" does not show up in this book at all, which makes me kind of happy because I feel that word has been overused in this book. And of course, we get an issue that's very close to my heart as Miss Marvel fights hipsters and gentrification. That seems to be the human villain of this Marvel of this arc right now, as Miss Marvel finds herself the face of the New Jersey gentrification program, pretty much, despite never being approached or anything. And we also see her fight fight off the super gentrifiers with their army of robot wasps and guards with laser batons and all that, as she tries to save a local business owner from getting their kneecaps broken, in a way. And then, of course, because Miss Marvel's on all the billboards, the people are now protesting her. Just can't win, no matter what. So setting up pretty interesting conflicts, I think, for the next for this arc, and hopefully more than just this arc. The last third of this book or quarter of this book, I feel is kind of unnecessary. It's the story of how Bruno met Mike, which I didn't care about beforehand. I like just he has a new girlfriend. I think that's enough to add conflict. I don't think we have to know how they met. It just seems unnecessary, but we get, so much book. So much, the last quarter or third of this book is just how Bruno and Mike met and how they bonded and everything like that. Which, after reading it, still just don't care about. I don't see how it's necessary to this story. I think we could have had more, Miss Marvel in the book, or even Miss Marvel talking to Bruno, or something about, her feelings and everything, instead of just shoehorning in this, well, it's not even so much shoehorning, it's just they kind of ran out of story and still had some pages to fill or something. Maybe it'll lead somewhere eventually, going forward, but just in this issue, it feels like wasted pages in a way. But overall, I liked it. I liked Miss Marvel issue 1. I like the directions they're taking the story in. I like how we can add Miss Marvel to the Avengers. We can have her do that, but still keep her very local and keep her story very small in a way. So yeah, it feels like more of the same, and I liked the same. So good. What a sequel, volume 2 should be. It's the same story but bigger stakes, bigger emotions, all that. So Miss Marvel #1 did quite a good job. And that is it for this part of the comic book reviews. If you want to see what I think about the DC books that I picked up this week, that'll be in part 2, which should be up later tonight, hopefully. But before you go and watch that video, should you choose to, I want to thank you for watching this one. If you liked it, please rate it. Please subscribe if you want more of these. Any comments, anything whatsoever, leave them below. And if I feel like I can respond in a way that isn't just, useless, I'll do that. And hopefully we can get into a conversation. And yeah, just overall, thank you for watching. And I hope that you will join me for some more comic book reviews.